Every day, a little of our life is taken from us. We do not die all at once, but gradually over time. And this understanding is with us all the time. We try not to think about our own death, and so we push it deeply down into our subconscious. And yet it comes up. So often we think that we're being rational, or the people around us are being rational, and yet that thin layer of rationality covers a deep reservoir of desires, fears, and anxieties about our own death. Paul Tillich was a theologian who was born in present-day Poland. He was fired from his university job when Adolf Hitler came to power in 1933, and he came to the United States, where he spent the rest of his career teaching in universities. Tillich gave a series of lectures at Yale University, which he later published as the book The Courage to Be. He published the book in 1952, and it's about existentialism. Paul Tillich says that there's a difference between fear, which is a specific response to a specific fear. So we're afraid of heights, or we're afraid of speaking in public, or afraid of snakes. And he contrasts that with anxiety, which is a sense of concern and worry that isn't located in a particular thing, except in the experience that of our own death. Tillich said that there are three kinds of anxiety that we experience. The first is anxiety about our own death. The second is anxiety about that our lives will be meaningless. And the third is a kind of anxiety that we will not live up to what we are capable of morally, that will let people down and we'll never be able to fix it again. Tillich says that above all, anxiety is contagious. Whole societies get it. I think in the United States in the last 6 years, I've definitely seen anxiety here. Whether you're on the right or the left, there's this deep sense of concern and worry. And Tillich says it's natural for modern societies to have this because there's change constantly happening, and we have a hard time adjusting to that change. Tillich wrote also about the difference between this experience of anxiety in Russia and the United States that's particularly appropriate now after these days when Russia's invaded Ukraine. He said that described Russian society as a neo-collectivist society. It's a little bit like the Middle Ages, except with modern technologies. He said that in that society, people are not so concerned about their own individual sins, if you will. They're more concerned about people who offend or have grievances against the whole. So an individual is lost in the whole and finds the one's meaning in the whole. So even though we may die, we know that the Russian state will continue to live on. In America, that fear of death, that anxiety about death manifests in a totally different way. Americans care above all about progress and about making things better with each generation. And that desire, progress becomes a kind of God for us. Progress means that we are satisfied living in a society where people are terribly vulnerable, where so many people are just one paycheck away from living on the street. He said also that Americans just don't think about death or talk about death. In our time, we don't even say someone died. We say they passed or they passed on. It's our way of dealing with death by not dealing with death. Tillich says that religion, that every question of being, every question about the courage to be is a religious question, even if it may not be obviously so. He says that faith is not believing in the unbelievable. Faith is allowing ourselves to be in the presence of God, the creator of everything, the ground of being. And he says that prayer that we address to God is frequently answered, and that God gives us hope, and God can give us joy in the face of our own mortality. My name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.